Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. With the release of Set 7, the game is about to level up and I can't wait to dive into all the new decks and cards that are coming on our way. Whenever you are a seasoned pro or a new player, the possibilities for strategies are huge in this new set. In this video, we're gonna take a closer look at some of the hottest decks you can expect to see in those first few weeks after the 7 set drops. First deck in our list is Blue Steel by Hal and Sweetie. We're playing 4 Zimbas, 4 Calhouns, 4 Dogs, 4 Smees, 4 Alice, 4 Bell. I didn't mention this Bell in the last video because it got dropped after I made the video about the tiers of the cards. So this is definitely a S tier card and super broken. And we played 2 Banjos, 2 John Silvers, 4 Pete's, 3 Flavershams, 3 Plutos, 4 Cogsworth, 3 Let the Storm Rage On, 4 Strength of Raging Fire, 4 Popsicles, 4 Fortispheres, and 3 Manners. So back to the Bell. This card is like really insane because you already got the uh, ballroom opening with Cinderella and Let the Storm Rage On. You got the Diablo Shift opening with Let the Storm Rage On, and now you got the third option. This is with um, Blue Steel with the Bell and Let the Storm Rage On. The effect of Bell is during a turn, you may banish a chosen item of yours to play this character for free. So you can go on the first turn, play Popsicle or Fortisphere, and play out that Bell in the first turn by removing one of those items. And afterwards, in the second turn, you can like play a Smee and destroy your opponent's character with Let the Storm Rage On most of the time. What you can also do is play out like 2 Zimbers to have like 3 1-drops and play Strength of Raging Fire, which is also pretty strong by removing like characters with more health. So yeah, definitely a really strong card. And this deck is like pushed into like the early into mid-range option, but you can definitely play it also with like whole new world and so on, and like with higher cost characters like the Tinkerbell, the Arthur, the Hades, and so on, the Tamato of course, with Lucky Dime. So you can spread like it's a very dynamic deck, and you can play it on both terms. So you can play it like for mid-range, or you can play it like for a really late game. Um, Depends on the meta, I guess. So I think this list is like really interesting, especially with the Alice we had in the last set. Now you have like the Bell also out here, so the early start of this deck is really strong, and it's like really hard to come up with an answer for this. For the draw engine, you play 4 dogs, and I would definitely play 4 flower shams because you play those 8 items. You can also play like one of those 2 characters 4 times, but I wouldn't play like 2 dogs and 2 Hirams because I think it's like not consistent enough. But playing both 4 times is also a pretty good idea. And I would also play 4 Let the Storm Rage On to like have those that Bell and Let the Storm Rage On opening much easier. So we'll definitely edit some cards here and there, but all in all, this is a really cool list, and this will definitely see play in the early games of set 7 and also later on. Next deck in our list, we have Ruby Steel. Really interesting, like with the new Mushu, a new deck is created, and we play 4 Milan, 4 Robin Hoods, 4 Calhouns, 2 Dogs, 4 Smees, 4 Sisus, 4 Pete's, 2 Goofies, 2 Mauis, 3 Mushus. I would personally play Mushu 4 times because it's like a really important card in this deck. And we play 2 Ratigans, 4 Robin Hoods, 4 Mauis, 2 Mulan, 2 Fan the Flames, 3 Brawl, 2 One Last Hope, 3 Strength of Raging Fire, 3 Whole New World, and 2 Imperial Proclamations. So I think with the new Mushu, a new deck is created. We got that gaining lore by attacking characters, which is really strong. We all had already had it with Calhoun and Robin Hood. And with the effect of Mushu, they do like if they remove a character from play, they give you like 4 lore, which is pretty insane. If you think it's like 1/5 of the game. And actually, I think this list is really, really good. Me personally, I would play like 4 Mushus, maybe play also 4 whole new worlds and remove the dog, or maybe play 4 dogs and remove the whole new world. Like, I wouldn't play like 50-50 on it. And yeah, it's a really, really strong list. It's like you're not really gaining lore by questing, you're more gaining lore by playing out um, playing out actions with Maui and attacking with because of Mushu. And of course, we can't forget we also got the Goofy in here, which also does like 2 lore, like by attacking. And if you destroy an opponent character with Goofy, you even get 4 lore. So this is also really, really strong. You have so many good cards in here. And especially this Goofy, I would also put it to 4, because with Calhoun and Robin Hood, your opponent sees it coming, so he knows what to do and how to deal with it. But if a Goofy comes in play, you can like stop it, and your opponent is also not allowed to like quest. So I think this deck will be played really, really early on a lot, because many people waited to Mushu to be played, and many people will try out the new Mushu and the new deck. But I think later on you will see this deck less and less in the play, and I think also in the challenges I don't think I can see it in the top 64 of all players. So really, really hard deck to play, I think also. So, and because of the strategy is like public, everyone knows what you want to do with this deck. It's like really hard to like get your opponent into dealing with those characters. Of course, you can go quest if your opponent doesn't quest, so you're like getting a bit of a better chance to do it. But I think this takes like you have to get some reps in. You have to try it out. Me personally, I don't think this will be like a top contender deck, but I can see that it will be played and it will be like a surprise, maybe a surprise deck in later challenges. So yeah, all in all, a really nice deck. I think the idea is really, really cool, and I will definitely try it out in the first few weeks. And yeah, really nice list. And let's go to the next one. Next deck in our list, we have Green Blue. This list is made by me, so I was testing it quite a lot the last few weeks, and I think it has like a big potential. I will just go through all the stuff. And we got 4 Clarabelles, 4 Tippos, 4 Muses, 4 Grammatala. We got the Universal Shift Baymax, and we got 4 John Silvers. We got, of course, the shift option for Clarabelle, 4 Sail the Azurite Sea. We got 4 Visions of the Future, 2 Bend to My Will, 4 Mother Knows Best, 4 You're Welcome, 3 How Far We'll Go, 4 We Don't Talk About Bruno, and 1 Under the Sea. 4 Sapphire Cold, which is also really, really strong card in my opinion, and will be definitely played in all blue decks if they play like here Bounce, or if they play for Sisu. This card will definitely be a strong contender for being a bit broken. And we also got, of course, 4 Manners. So the list here is really interesting because you can like remove the Manners and play maybe 2 Simbers and max out other cards in this deck. But I think Manners are like really, really strong here because you're always bouncing your opponent's characters with the Muses most of the time, and also giving them impulsive with John Silver, or like it's like a really, really strong list. So you in the first turn you might play Clarabelle, in the second turn you play Tipo, in the third turn you play the Muses or Grammatala, and then you start like bouncing your opponent's cards from their field to the hand, and you're doing this like for a few turns. Then in the fifth turn you can shift the Clarabelle and bounce all his characters back to his hand. Your opponent will most of the time have like 10 or 12 cards in his hand after this turn, especially if you played with You're Welcome. So you're drawing like a lot of cards, and most of the time drawing like 10 cards will definitely give you a Bend to My Will or a Visions of the Future with which you can find the Bend to My Will. So the list is like the idea is like really obvious. So you play color bell, draw a lot of cards, and then you discard your opponent's hand. But the big problem here is aggro decks, because playing out the muses is like really late, and if you don't have the tipo, you might have a big problem. You can also play the two-cost song that draws you two cards, and then you have to discard one just to like have one more bounce option for the muses. This would definitely be an option you could like try out, but I don't think it's that necessary because, as I mentioned, I play Sapphire Coil now. You have this item, and if you like put two ink into your inkwell, you can already like remove most of the field with the muses. So this is really strong. This I see this deck has a lot of potential, and I really like to play with it. But the big problem is here the consistency of the deck, because you just have this one combo you can try. You can like maybe try it out with playing with Tamatoa, Hiram, and so on. So this would definitely be an option. But I'm like a really big fan of bouncing those characters back to their hand and making the opponent draw a lot of cards to discard them later on. And I can tell you that this most of the time this deck is like a killer for red blue and for ruby amethyst, because it's really hard for them um, to play around this bend to my will here. So yeah, this is definitely a list I would recommend you guys to try out. It needs a bit of practice, but I think it's definitely a contender to be like B tier or A tier even. Um, really depends on the matter, because if you play a lot, if your meta is played a lot of red blue, you will have really good chance to get tops with this deck. But if you have like a lot of steel song in your meta, it will be like really hard to play with this deck. So yeah, really depends on the meta, but I think it's a really cool list and you should definitely try it out. Next up in the list, we have a red blue deck. Um, of course, again, we have the 4 bell and we have the new item Unconventional Tool. When this item is banished, you pay 2 less for the next item you play this turn. So you could basically play this Unconventional Tool and destroy it, play Bell, and play a Popsicle or a Sapphire Call in the same turn, which is really strong. So yeah, this list is like a mix of the list we already got, like the normal red blue list, and the new burn red blue list we have. The thing here is I would definitely play like 4 Mauis if I play a lot of those actions, and I would also play like both of these Tamatoas like 2 times, which is like really interesting. The new Tamatoa is really strong, and ramping in the first few turns is even more important at the moment. In this list, you can also sing one jump ahead with Bell and play a ramp in the same turn. So you're like, if you play this right, you could be playing it on turn 2 with one jump ahead, so 3 ink. Then you play like Azurite Sail and ink 2 more, so you have like 5 ink in the third turn, which is like really strong. And one turn later, you can already play your Tamatoa, and this is really strong because you already have items in your grave. Because when you play this character, um, return up to 2 item cards from your discard to your hand. So you can basically get that unconventional tool back to your hand and the popsicle, which you maybe destroyed with Flaversham. This is like really strong. If you don't play on this Tamatoa, you can also play on the Bell, which is like costing 1 less for each item you have in your discard. Like a really strong combo you have here, and I see a lot of potential in this deck. I think it will be like, it will not be played like this. I think you will have either the normal traditional red blue, and you will have like the other one with the burn options with manner and so on. So I think this like list is really interesting. It needs to be like still build up a bit. You need to play test it a bit, and I think this will be like an S tier deck in this current meta. Next up in our list, we have Amethyst Steel. As you can see, it's really, really basic. We got like two new cards in it. It's the Honey Marin, and when you play this character, if an opponent has an exerted character in play, gain one lore. So it's really cool because you're getting like this lore for free at your second turn, and you can like bounce it all the time with your Mother Mims. And you got this new card, the Giant Cobra, which has Vanish. But when you play this character, you may choose and discard a card to gain 2 lore, which is also really, really strong. And this list is really, really aggressive, more like an aggro version. I would definitely play like free libraries and also some goats because I think they're really, really, really important in this deck. I think this deck has a lot of passive gain lore, which is like really hard to deal with, especially if you are a slower deck. So if opponent goes like first turn Maleficent and then the second turn they play Smee, and in the third turn you already got the Giant Cobra who gives you like 2 lore for free. It's like a better goat, but the only thing you have to think about is that you have to discard a card, so you need a lot of draw engine in this deck. So I would definitely stay on those friends, and I would definitely play some libraries and some goats in here because I think the genies has really good draw engines, but the goat is just better for drawing a lot. So maybe like remove a Calhoun, maybe remove 3 Calhouns to add in free rabbits, and maybe even like remove those strength for raging fire because you are aggressive and you don't really need removal in this deck, and put in some libraries. I think this deck has really big potential and will definitely see play, especially if you think about some actions that aren't included in this deck at the moment. For example, the gathering knowledge, where you just like get 2 lore, could also be played a lot, just to like as a finisher. And with the Giant Cobra, you already have like a good finisher, and just getting like your hand maxed out, maybe drawing a lot of cards in, maybe even like play Giant Cobra, discard a card, and like be able to sync friends with it would be like definitely a value you would take. And I think this deck has a lot of potential and will also be played a lot in the earlies. And also if like strong decks like red blue are played a lot, you can like outrun them with these versions of these decks. So definitely still a lot of play, and I'm already hyped about the new set. That's it for today. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe, and drop a comment about the favorite deck of yours in the next set. And yeah, see you guys soon. Bye.